Another video brought to you by Kendall Works. Alright, today in part 2 of trying to resurrect my NAS device, where we left off basically is we were in PuTTY and we were downloading the bin file so we could put it on this little flash drive here. I'm calling it a flash drive. DOM stands for Disk on Module, and it does use an IDE interface, but for all intents and purposes I'm going to refer to it as a flash drive. So I've downloaded that inside the Linux box now, and we can find that file by typing ls. All right, and as you notice here, it's given us the file name and it's .bin with the extension. So one thing I want to note is when you're downloading the files from that website, make sure you get .bin files. There are some zip files on that website. Do not download the zip files that are for your device. Make sure you get the bin files. It makes it a whole lot easier to do this process. So now that we have the firmware on the device here, on our little Linux that's running off our USB stick, what we want to try and do is put it on this memory card. So there's a command in Linux that you can type in, and it lists all your devices basically, and it's lsscsi for SCSI. Alright, and that's letting us know right now it sees my disk, which is my Lexar USB flash drive, and it only sees that one. Okay, and we know that because we haven't put in this device yet. All right, this process, I'm going to plug this in. This is a 44-pin DIMM module. They also come in 40-pin. The 40-pin do not have power. These 44 pins do have power. All right, so you could brick your device by plugging this in. All right, I've done this a lot in the past, and I've never had a problem. But I just want to put that disclaimer out there. You could ruin your device. All right, so we know right now it only has this one device. All right, we just issued that command. My hope is we take this little device here, we plug it into our NAS device, and then I wait a little bit and try and issue that same command, and hopefully it sees this device. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So I'm going to move it around so you guys can see what I'm doing. And obviously don't try and touch anything else as you do this. But the device is running obviously because we're in it through PuTTY. All right, so I'm just going to try and carefully line up these pins and then plug it in. All right, make sure it's seated all the way. All right, it's in there, and you know, it didn't beep at me or give me a hard time, but it's not seeing that device. All right. There is a little jumper on the side here, and I know you can't really see that with a camera. I'm assuming, let's see if I can get the camera to focus. Right there. It's really hard to see. It's right here. There's like a little jumper. It's black, and you can move it up or down. I can't remember when I took it out if it was down or up. All right. So I'm going to back the camera out, and I'm going to try and move that jumper up and see if it does anything. And I don't want anything metal, so I'm going to use like a pencil if I can find one here. There we go. There's a mechanical pencil, so it's plastic. And it's right here. We'll move it up. All right, we'll see if it sees it. No, still didn't see it. So my guess is it didn't see it because on boot up with Linux, that's where it checks for everything. I don't know if you can just hot swap something in like that, like I was attempting to. But the good news is it didn't brick my device. All right, it's still working. I can still issue commands. Yep. So I mean, we're working good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and reboot this device with that plugged in now, and I'm going to see what happens. All right, so let me know it went down, and you should hear the fan kind of quiet down and the flashing lights on the front and the side, which you can kind of see over here, turn off. There it goes, it booted back up. All right, so I'm going to have to get PuTTY back open again. Give me a second here, and we'll see if we can get back to that NAS device. It takes probably a little while for it to boot up if it is going to boot up, right? I've never attempted this with that flash drive in there as well, so I don't know what's going to happen. And we can also ping-t and see if we get any replies. The other thing I am noticing right now that isn't a good sign is this USB drive here. I don't know if you guys can, there we go. It's not flashing red. In my first video it was flashing red. So I think what's happening is it's trying to boot off that flash device that's down here. And that flash device obviously is dead, or there's something wrong with it, and that's what caused this whole problem. So let's try one more thing. There's the power button here. I'm gonna flip this around so you guys can see it easier. There's a power button down here. I mean, it's basically the same spot where the case is on. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna power that off. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on its side again. I'm going to try and trick it. I'm going to set this jumper back to down because that's where it was on this DOM device. And I'm going to try and pull this out. Might fly somewhere. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to try and do, so we're booting up to the disk drive, to this USB drive here. There's a window of time where when you start it up and it boots, it can boot into this USB drive. So I'm going to wait for it to start flashing a little bit, and then I'm going to try and put this in as quickly as I can. So when it goes through its boot up process, it recognizes this device here. So that's the theory. I'm going to wait for it to beep. There it goes. All right, it's red, so I'm going to try and get this thing in here now. Gosh, it's hard to line up those pins. I'm doing this, live, so you guys are going to be doing the same thing. Oh, that didn't feel good. Wasn't lined up. Oh, there you go. Hear that? Doing something. Either like something or didn't like something. One of the two. Huh. Well, my USB drive over here is not flashing anymore. I'm not getting any ping replies either. So I may have missed my window of opportunity. And like I said, there is power connectors on that device, so yeah, don't like that. I don't see the USB device flashing anymore. So I'm going to pull it out again. All right. Try this process again. All right, sounded good there. Okay, didn't make any sounds that time. And the USB device, it was flashing. Let's see if I can get that on camera. There it goes. So it's flashing now, and that device is in there. So it's continuing to flash. So I have better hopes on this time. And this is something I wanted to do on camera because it's going to be a finesse process in order to make this work, right? You're trying to trick it to use that USB device, but also put in that flash device, or that DOM module to make sure it works. So let's start our ping back up again, and let's see if it can talk to it. Like I said, I can see that USB device blinking red, so that's a good sign. We'll just continue to watch it. Typically if you guys own one of these, it can take anywhere from a minute to 5 minutes for it to boot up. So, right now I'm not really concerned. I do see that drive flashing, so, I think we're good. Hopefully it keeps that same, yep, there it goes, 1.63. So it kept that same IP address. It's pinging. So, well, that's looking great, guys. All right. Or it was. Yep. All right. Let's ping it again. Let's just make sure. It looked like it stopped there for a second. All right, there it goes. It's probably still booting up. It's probably going, initiating some services or something. All right. So that looks good. So let's try putty again. I'm gonna load the NAS device here into my PuTTY with that 1.63 address. All right, we're getting a logon prompt. So this is looking good, guys. I may have hit it too soon. It's still thinking probably. All right, there it goes. So we're in. So let's try that. We'll do an ls just to make sure. We'll change to our downloads folder since that's where that file lived. There we go. It's still there. So this is our USB drive right now. So let's issue that lsscsi and let's hope it sees that other device. No, it does not. So that's not good. So at this point in time, I'd probably say there's probably something wrong with that flash device. That DOM module is probably bad. So that's a bummer, but I'll try and do another video here. I think probably all I need to do is go through the same process and then put in a new DOM module like we have here, and I imagine it should work. So I appreciate you guys for watching, and I hope you guys learned something. Thanks.